They will give you always the best rate.
They connect to Binance, HitBTC, LMAX, and Kraken.
What I like about Swissborg is that they have an amazing app.
Ah, wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Pile number 24. Super excited to be with you guys today. We're going to dive into the love of the community, talk about what's happening on the markets that are driving sideways. Are we going bull or bear? And then talk about Swissborg, its network flourishing on a daily basis with new ads, new tokens, and a lot of good stuff to happen. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazel. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Swissborg, always here to serve you. I want to thank again these beautiful laser green eyes that are helping us to drive mass adoption of Swissborg network within your homes and your lives. You're probably wondering as well, why do I have a shirt? Yes, indeed. I'm going to have meetings with some banks this afternoon, so that's the reason why I am dressed up like that. But nevertheless, I remain the same. And to be wealthy and healthy, please make sure to vote for Swissborg on startup.ch. We need to win this competition to get it into the top 3 of the best Swiss startups. Question of the week: how does USDT help with generating more yield? Okay, just to make things clear, USDT has been created by Bitfinex, one of the biggest largest exchange out of Asia, and USDT is the first real stable coin, as you guys probably all know. It has the biggest amount of volume. It's really used for trading, less for payments like USDC. And the great thing is that there is today, I think so, up to like $30 billion worth of USDT on the markets, which is just insane when you think about it. That means that there's a lot of volume on centralized exchanges, but there are actually quite a big amount of volume as well on decentralized exchanges, on as well lending platforms. And USDT could be a way that you could combine time to time like USDC and USDT, and that could bring a better yield. And that's the reason why we have added it. Another reason is that there's a lot of USDT that could bring us more AUM on the platform, and that's the main reason why we brought USDT. A little course about what's crypto assets, and I think so it's really good to go back to fundamentals, especially when the markets right now is hard to perceive we're going for a bull or a bear. And usually what I like to do is to break these down into 5 different asset classes. The first one is payment tokens, right? We all know that Bitcoin, the genesis of crypto actives, we're really here to create a new payments way, right? To decentralize the banking system, to decentralize central governments. And the idea of Bitcoin was to create a peer-to-peer token that you'd be used for payments. And further that, there's been, a lot of different other protocols that being like Litecoin, Monero, XRP, and many others that really want to replace the regular fiat by crypto. The second wave of generation was not about payments. It was about building. Creating a smart contract such as Ethereum, but as well moving from proof of work to proof of stake, right, with Polkadot, Cardano, and many others. And we see that all these blockchains is really the pipelines, or they're like the highways where you connect essentially different digital assets, and it enables each different blockchain has its own virtue. One is faster, one is better to scale, other one is better to code. And really the game of these platforms, as you know, is to replace any connection. And why is it better? Because most of the time is open source. We've seen this with all the great projects on Ethereum, but as well in Binance Smart Chain and now on Polygon, is all interoperability. How can you connect it to one to the others? And I think so this is why this is changing the massive game behind it. It's really how to connect these different projects in a very snap way. Then there's utility tokens such as the Swissborg token, basic attention token. All of these tokens have membership rights, have governance rights, have premium rights, have voting rights that go with it, and it has a lot of ways how you could use it within the network that exists. And we know that, for example, for Swissborg token, there's so many great utilities that we covered last week. Then there's security tokens or asset-backed tokens. Like in the Wealth app, you could buy Paxos Gold or USDC. And what the great thing about Paxos Gold is that you actually are owner of physical gold. Same that goes for USDC, is that you actually, each token represent a fraction of $1, And that's a great way to really essentially tokenize whatever investment we want in the future. That could be commodities, that could be shares, that could be social media metrics, personalities, it could be whatever you want. All these different stocks and derivatives gonna go on chain, but as well a lot of the new kind of metrics, kind of new way to value essentially data are gonna be on chain and are gonna be represented via these security tokens. And last but not least, one that I'm really big fan of, you probably have heard this a lot of times, is non-fungible tokens. Why this is a great way to get to mass adoption, or we already saw this year that so many newbies got into crypto thanks to NFTs. But think about NFTs when we talk about Engine, right? Like Engine for me is one of the best use case, if not the best use case in the world, how we could empower all video game players to start winning and earning and all these different collectibles of swords, of personas, and how that these different collectibles could be owned through your wallet, through your digital ID, and then how you could trade them and sell them and buy more in order to really build your virtual career on video games, regardless of whatever the video game is. I think so this is something that is fascinating. Just to put in perspective, last year the total revenues of video games industry was over $200 billion, and less than 1% actually went to players. So think about what's going to happen in the coming years when we're going to be, you know, with these different wallets that you'll be able to collect these different guys at FIFA. You'll be able to build a new Ronaldo and then sell it to someone else, and then buy an axe on another game, or a gun or whatsoever, build a virtual house somewhere. And I think so that is something that is just going to grow time by day by day. A lot of newcomers, super excited to have them. Justine, legal counsel, she's going to be helping us more and more. She has great experience. She graduated from HEC in Paris and then did the bar, so she became a lawyer. She's been working for the AMF for a very long time, and she's going to be helping us to really help us on all the regulatory and legal aspects in order to get licenses and get many other things that could only protect and help our dear community members. Awesome to have Thibaut as well as a digital marketing intern. He's going to be helping the team to get the better stage to make sure that we grow as a community and we have beautiful designs and a lot of things and campaigns that will drive us more traction and grow our community. Evelina, super excited to have her as well. She's going to be really working at recruiting a lot of people. As we know, we are recruiting a big amount of people all the time, but she'll be doing other things as well in order to really bring our people team to become great human beings. Pierre Deviry, a very good friend of ours, super excited, an ICU contributor. He has worked in a lot of different industries, recently in the blockchain one, helping institutional business, OTC. He's going to be driving a lot of traffic. Looking forward to have this lovely bro here, and super excited about it. Last but not least, wonderful Mathieu, a youngster of 17 years old that's just starting his first internship. Looking forward to have him, and he's going to probably... He is the one that's going to be fully on crypto. That generation of people that are born in the early 21st century, we are doing it for these guys, and hopefully they will really be using more and more crypto as we speak. If you want to be part of a lovely family, there's new jobs every week. Front and iOS engineers there's so many new other positions always open all the time. Check it out, or refer any of your friends, and you could earn up to $3,000 worth of Swissborg token if we recruit him or her. News of the week: Bitcoin tumbles down 10% in the wake of the deepening China crackdown. We know that a lot of miners in China are fleeing out to Kazakhstan, to the US, in order to have a better regulatory aspect to their business. We know as well that on Coinbase, one of the users woke up with $1 trillion in crypto. Obviously couldn't withdraw it. There's been a lot of scams that happened recently since the month of October, which is a bit of negative news. Last but not least, I think so there's more and more smart money that's coming. MicroStrategy acquires a big amount of crypto, especially about Bitcoins, because they're understanding when people are starting to fear the market, it's usually the best time to get in. It doesn't look like we're going into great territories. We saw that last week it went to 40,000, but it didn't break that 40,000 resistance. So we've been playing around, flirting between 30 and 40. It happens that this recent crackdown in China is definitely bearish news. You know, usually when we're in sideways market, it's gonna react over pessimistically if there's bad news, or over optimistically if there's really great news. There hasn't been so much great news yet. If it happens that we do break the $30,000 Bitcoin support, that might bring us to a very bloody territories. Regardless of that, we know why we're in this game. There is some good time, there is some bad times. We should never be too over enthusiastic about it. We never should be over pessimistically. This is what it is. Crypto is here as a love you, hate you solution. But we know in the long run, whether you hate it or you love it, you're gonna be using it. And overall, I think so the big picture is great to see, right? Obviously, you know, the fact that USD has been strengthening. So when the dollar index strengthens, usually all the risky assets do usually have a counter effect, which really brings it down. But overall, we should understand that we are growing the crypto market. The adoption of users is just growing. I just look at stats at the last 6 months. We had over 1 million people visiting our website. There's been as well 125 visiting Binance, which is just insane when you think about it. And the average duration actually is over 5 minutes. So that means people that are not on their websites, people using it. So that means they have 100 million users today, right? And we see that with time is that every different technology does take time, right? But then when you get this real adoption curve starting to grow, then we know we are in for the wrong time. Since the beginning of the year, I mean, even since 2017, we knew that was going to happen. We didn't know how quick it is. Now we're in this territory that things are getting better products, decentralized exchanges, decentralized lending, everything regarding DeFi is great. NFT it's building, I think so. We still haven't found the great way how to use NFTs besides with Engine, but we're going there. We have social fan tokens. There's more and more real big players that are getting into this, and without talking the institutional money going in, right? Again, why I'm dressed up today is that today I'm gonna go see different banks, and we're seeing more and more of these private banks that really want to adopt crypto. They see this as a safe haven play. They see it as this way to invest into a deflationary edge against US dollar. They're starting to understand as well what is DeFi and how can they potentially play the DeFi model. And this is exactly what Swissborg is about, is right? It's to create the best community for you guys, but as well help institutions to get people in, because long-term play, we're all in together. And I think so collaboration is the key for success with great communication as well. Big announcement of the week, XRP is here. A lot of people have been asking this for some time, and we finally have delivered it. We had some concerns, at least me personally, some concerns about XRP and its value and how it would be played. However, after meeting multiple times their team, we really had great discussions, and it looks like, you know, XRP is going to be a good play more and more into DeFi, and how Swissborg is going to contribute to that success with them. So, you know, we really felt after all this time, and especially that you guys have been asking this for a long time, said, okay, you know what, let's consider our thoughts and let's see how this could be a great play for Swissborg, but as well for the blockchain ecosystem. And we're really very excited to have XRP, and hopefully we'll be able to yield on this hopefully soon. Swissborg and data. We had to have almost 1 million deposits so far, which is crazy. 880,000 is a really huge amount. There's one deposit person that actually deposited 555 times. That's a lot. 418,000 users so far, 1.1 billion. Obviously, assets are growing, but the prices obviously recently has tumbled this down to 1.1 billion, which is still a great result. The retention of our users is 66% after 3 months, which is very high for this industry. So that means really that we're building a lot of lovely products and people are enjoying it. So far there's been over 5 billion total exchange volume, which that is all-time high. What about happening on the DeFi and yielding markets? We have more people going into USDC yield, 215 million, 15 million that's added actually in a span of only 10 days. I think this is very, very healthy. Please consider USDC yield as a way, especially if we go into bear market. This is a great way to yield, but as well diversify your portfolio. Swissborg token and the yield, 50,000 people in it, remains pretty much stable. Same for Ether, Bitcoin, and unfortunately not a lot of people going into BNB yield, which brings us a little bit over to $703 million assets within the DeFi and the yield products. Swissborg data, it is 14,000, almost 15,000 next week we'll get, which is great for premium users. We're pretty much stable in the CHSB staking and yield, which brings us to close to 70%. Unfortunately, really bad news about the Swissborg token function. That has been really sad, but obviously it's correlated to the market. With that in perspective, we're going to add a new pair of USDT to CHSB on HitBTC, and that will probably enable us to get much more traction and volume, but as well a bit to decorrelate the CHSB to BTC, and like we could get maybe more stabilized returns going forward. Protect and burn still 500,000 there, and we're pretty much stable, about 94,000 holders of Swissborg token within the app. Hopefully we can get to 100,000, so please ask your friends to buy some tokens. It's a really good point to get in, by the way. Which brings up to the Swissborg index. Is it 6? Is it 7? It's 7.9. Well, thank you, social media activity. It's been like insane amount of people that have loved Twitter and as well these videos. So thank for that. That really has boosted. If not, CHSB volume is pretty much similar. Unfortunately, activity on the Wealth app and the community app is going down because maybe it's too warm or people just want to enjoy their summer. Tomorrow night is Crypto Night with Gordon Einstein. Looking forward to it. He's a really interesting folk. So you're going to have a lot of new things about learning about blockchain. Again, maybe to talk about what happened with Anthony and Alex. I hope you really enjoyed the Crypto Night of last week. I thought it was great. The both volumes was a great job. And it's always cool to see my brother and my brother from another mother linking and talking about the future of blockchain and how we get into crypto and all the financial assets and all the philosophy behind it. As you guys know, this platform is here for you and us to talk and to share values, ask questions. So please like, comment, and share this video, and make sure that next question of the week is going to be a really cool one again. And another week, guys. We are growing as a community, obviously not as fast as we wish. Things are a little bit slowing down. Summer is here. There's a crackdown, some FUD going on crypto. But again, we know our position. We know that this game has some big ups and has some big downs. But if you zoom out on a longer perspective, it doesn't matter that much, right? And I think so we have great tools more and more for yielding. We're bringing USDT that you're going to yield. Yes, you heard it. You're going to yield on USDT very, very, very soon. There's still a lot of things in the pipeline that we're developing with XRP and other tokens. And I'm so glad that we as well are growing as an ecosystem. We're hiring more and more people on a bi-monthly basis. More and more smart people are joining the team, much more than ever. So I think so that's what I like the most and what I'm enjoying the most. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Be healthy, be wealthy, and love our CHSB, guys. Love you. Take care. Bye.
Whether you want to buy 100 Bitcoins or 10 euros, you can always get the best price execution.